this is a little off topic, but I think I've seen multiple claims in the chat that you do a really good Slavoj Zizek, and I've got to say, I mean, I think we've talked like 3 or 4 times on your show, and somehow this has never come up.
Oh my God! Well, yeah, I don't want to force it, but I've listened to so many and I love your interviews with him. People should go check that out. He's like enemies with you, right? Hasn't he said before that he's like challenging you or something?
Yeah. We were on Feldman together.
Right.
It was me and him and Russ Sabriglia and Anand Hussein, and he was like, it's like I can't do it justice, right? You know, I'm not, so I shouldn't try. But he was like, it's like, oh, this, you know, thank you to everybody, even my greatest enemies, Ben and Russell.
Yeah, so it'd be like, yes, this guy Ben Burgis, he's my enemy. I don't know why, but he is. I don't like him. I just pick people to not like. I guess that's my stuff.
Well, I had talked to, you know, I talked to him several times on YouTube, right? But I last over the summer, you know, I was at this event, the Hay Festival in the UK, and
in-person Zizek?
Yeah, I got a good extended dose of in-person Zizek, and it was like the same kind of thing, but like more extreme when he's in person. So it's like there was like you know, he'd like introduce me to people, and he'd be like, "Oh, this is Ben. He's very problematic. You know, he's sexist. He's an enemy of progress. You know." There was a point where I was just like in the green room. I had my like laptop on my lap because I was like getting ready for a debate or something, and he just walks through, and there are like a few people with him, and he does this like double middle finger thing.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, fuck you up the ass." And then he turns to the people he's with. It's like, no, it's okay. You know, Ben is my friend. I must greet my friends in this manner.
Yeah, well, he's said that's the pure sign of affection from him, because he said many times that that's how you form a true friendship, is by saying "fuck your mother" or whatever to people. That's like
no, that is pretty good. Yeah, he said, I think he might have told the story in public before, but so I don't think I'm talking out of school, but he did this thing. He had this whole thing that he was telling people there about how like the moment when you know, he was like most proud of his son. He was like, his son is like 16 or something in the story, and he said he was like, you know, he was like he was like arguing with him, or he was mad at his son or something. He's like, it was nothing bad. He's just being annoyed, right? and then at some point he tells his son this thing that's like some like traditional like Slovenian "fuck you" phrase, which is like is something like, you know, "mad dog, fuck your mother," and to which his son responds without having to wait a beat, "That already happened. That's how I got here." And Slavoj is just so proud of him for like having that comeback, you know, that quickly.
Oh my God, that's
what I knew he was my son.
He's the perfect dad. He's clearly the perfect dad. Oh my God. You've seen the Astra Taylor documentary where she just follows him around? Have you seen that?
I haven't actually seen this, no.
Oh my God. It's probably one of the best documentaries ever made. It's just called Zizek ! And he says there's like, it's just a like a million funny quotes in there. There's a part where they're just in a restaurant, you know, the documentary, the person doing the documentary and him, and he points to a picture of himself giving a speech that they took. It's in a newspaper, and he's like, "Let me ask you, would you let your daughter date this man? I look very much like a criminal." Like, he's just doing like jokes like that the whole time. It's great. It's one of the best documentaries ever. Just him being a goofball. It's great.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah, I was gonna say now I want to see him debate JD Vance, but I actually don't, because he you know, he has a habit in debates of being like, "Yeah, actually, actually, you're right."
Yeah. I don't feel like doing the debate anymore. I just agree with you. Yeah, because that's more fun. He's a fun guy. He doesn't want to like do blood sports. He wants to have a good time, you know?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
even though he did, I mean, even though he did give Jordan Peterson a little bit of a hard time. That's probably why Jordan Peterson picked Zizek over doing a debate with like Richard Wolff,
Oh,
is
totally.
because he's like, oh, this guy, and even then he was like, oh, this guy Zizek's kind of a comedian and a goofball, and people all fell in love with Zizek. I feel like probably a bunch of even Peterson fans,
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, 100%. I actually said that in Canceling Comedians, the part where I talk about this at the end, that like, I absolutely think that that's a big part of why Peterson passed on Richard Wolff and said yes to Slavoj, and why more recently, right? He actually like Peterson actually, because like Nathan Robinson wrote that article about him years ago, the intellectual we deserve or something like that, and which like has long irritated him, right? He's brought that up every now and again.
Yeah.
And then like he literally Peterson goes on Peterson, like on Twitter somehow or another, people had like brought it up again or something like that, and he was like, anytime, any place, Mr. Robinson. And so Nathan immediately, of course, was like, oh, cool, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then like having called his bluff, he's just ghosted him ever since. Like that's because like again, he doesn't want to do it with somebody who he thinks, he probably thought like, okay, funny accent, eccentric intellectual references, whatever, like anything that happens in this won't look too bad for me. Was probably his initial thought. And, and I think in some way, a lot of ways, I really like what Slavoj did in that debate, which is, I've talked to him about this since, that is like, I think he wasn't really trying to like, tear Jordan Peterson a new asshole or anything. He was just trying to talk to people in the audience who find Peterson compelling, and sort of show them that there's this like that like, yeah, the person you have in mind when you're thinking about the left is, which is like roughly that Michael Brooks clip in the promo that we played earlier, right? Like that person is not who you should be thinking of, right? Think about me, right? Like let's say like have this sort of more interesting, funnier, less moralistic, kind of vision of what the left is that he wanted to present to these people, which I actually think is a great thing to do with that opportunity. But like it ended up being perfect because Slavoj was mostly doing that. And, he did get a couple shots in that, can you name a postmodern neo-Marxist?
Yeah,
so whatever,
right.
But like mostly it was just that somehow like Peterson just being on the same stage with him was just like was just lost his nerve and just kind of tripped over his own shoelaces. And so it's like, I don't think Slavoj really needed to do anything. It was just Peterson just like getting embarrassed and fumbling like in this like really extreme way.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, I don't know, maybe this is good for just talking about debates in general, since we're kind of like watching a debate, but it's also like, there's not a lot of like fact checking. You're not going to like look up everything they're saying in the debate. So a lot of it comes down to just performance and vibe and stuff like that. And Peterson just has notoriously no vibe, and Slavoj Žižek is very vibe heavy. So in that case, it's there's no contest.
Yeah, there are a few heavier vibes for sure. Saw also somebody in the chat mentioned mentioned his conversation with Michael Brooks, which was great for sure. Although it is also really a shame because he was gonna do it like in studio. Like that was the original plan. He was going to be in the U.S. Before COVID came down. That would have been great. He had this whole thing that he wanted to like go to like he wanted to go to like a deli with Michael, whatever. It was going to be a whole thing. So
that would have been amazing. That would have been so good.
You have been watching free public content from Give Them an Argument. To access every single episode of the show, the main show on Monday nights, all of the streams, all of the debate breakdowns, all of the patron-exclusive post-games on Monday nights, all of the patron-exclusive bonus episodes every week, and much, much more, go to patreon.com/Ben Burgis. I cannot resist ending this with, don't be foolish.